Hello, beautiful souls. This is Vinita Kumar, also known as twinflameunion, bringing you guys in the AVA series, Ask Vinita Anything. I haven't had a chance to actually load some of the pep talk empowerment as well. So for those that are waiting for those to air, that's going to be my next one. I just have a series of questions that was asked. So I just want to get those out, my answers for those. I get lots of questions as usual. And what I decided to do is launch this series so that all the questions that are good questions, they get answered publicly so that the rest of you also hear them and understand them. I always say no questions are stupid, so this is my way of reaching out to a mass audience versus just answering it on one-on-one. Frankly, I do not actually have the time to engage anymore on a one-to-one basis, and I'm not very active as well in my twinflameunion group much as well when people are asking me their questions. So the best thing to do is to tag me if people want my attention on certain questions that they're asking. Yeah, life is just getting too busy, and it's just the way it is. As things are growing for me, I don't get much chances, but I also want to add thank you for those that are patiently waiting, that have submitted their questions. It's gonna air as time permits. So just bear with me. Best thing is to just continue watching. You will eventually see your questions answered. So having said that, before we dive deep into this, let's hit it. And welcome back. For those that are new to this channel, welcome. Please do not forget to hit like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any future videos. I have a bunch of guided meditations. I have a few more to actually do. I already know what I'm going to be filming on, so keep a lookout of those, as well as there's a bunch of information on the pep talk series and now the AVA series, which is what this video is, as well as timeless readings. These are all there to aid you in your spiritual journey. It doesn't matter whether you are twin flame or not. If you're on a spiritual journey, you will be drawn to this channel, and there's a reason for it. Do not second guess your guides if they have led you here to me. Having said that, if you wish to book any private sessions with me, you can do that as well. Link is in the description box. You can purchase and book directly from there, as well as I want to add that 10% of twinflameunion sales also go to charity. So if you're booking with me, you are serving a good cause. So these were the announcements. Let's dive into the questions. Some of them are scenario based, so I'm just going to actually read them as well. And of course, they're all over the place. I didn't type them out, so I'm just reading it off the devices here. So bear with me as I sift through the stories as well as the questions that are being asked. This was asked by Ali, and the question that he is asking, I have several questions and I would like your point of view. Over the last 3 years after my awakening, which confirmed my faith as a Muslim and my spirituality, are not in conflict, but actually a blessing of the truth. And since my divorce in 2010, death experience in 2013, I started questioning everything, who I am. So I pretty much read everything there is to read online about soulmates, twin flames, the journey, life mission, and the overall spiritual side of life. In order to try and make sense of everything since my teenage years, when I started noticing there is more to life than what is logically and scientifically explained. I consider myself more mature than the average person who it comes to spirituality. Connection to the universe, intuition, life mission, the crown, third eye, heart chakra, etc., etc. Everything online is basic knowledge and very helpful for those who are starting to find their way, but I need more and higher knowledge. I have a good feeling about you and what you have to say. Okay, so within this scenario, he's kind of given me a couple of questions and I'm just going to go over this. And I think this is an important one. He's also a client, so I mentioned it to him that I was going to actually air this just because the value of the question that he's got, I think that that's very, very important. People are always in different stages of their spiritual journey. Some people get their awakening during childhood years, and I think I've mentioned that in my videos as well as in my blogs. You are supposed to be reading all my blogs as well as watching all my videos in depth. Sometimes you have to do it a few times to really sink in what I'm trying to say. It took me 4 years personally to understand what this whole journey is all about, spirituality, and I'm still learning more as I'm getting more and more downloads. So these are very, very channelized information that I have. So I don't know what others are teaching. It's hard to say. I'm so concentrated on what I have, my work ahead of me in many ways. I've got so much downloads that I'm getting, and my guides think that I can do this, meaning that, they think that I have the time to be able to push it out fast, and as much as information it's coming through my mind and just getting spiritual downloads, I actually don't have that much time to push it out faster. I wish I did, so just bear with me. There's more content that's coming as usual. So having said that, yes, you will be able to find bits and pieces of information here and there. It's what I did when I was awakened to the twin flame journey. I found some good information, and some of them were very, very basic knowledge. I have to just say that if that's something that you guys are finding, including you, Ali, keep looking, keep digging, and see if there is something else that is a little bit more in advanced. I do teach on an advanced level myself, just because, and I simplify it a lot. I don't concentrate on the esoteric way of teaching, just because a lot of people are in the beginner stages of their journey. So I try to kind of simplify it so that people can understand it a little bit better, as opposed to, trying to understand it in an esoteric way. So if that makes sense. So though they are very simplified for everybody, if you are a little bit on a more advanced level, you'll still be able to understand it. So when I was personally looking at information, some of them unfortunately are not even out there anymore. It was I mean, people have come and gone when it comes to twin flame teachings and teachers, experts, whatever they call themselves at this point. They have also revamped their, in the 4 years that I have been in this journey, they have revamped their entire programs and stuff like that to kind of advance on the stages that they have been. I remember 4 years ago, different things were taught, and now 4 years later, of course, a lot has changed just within the community and what is being taught. So it's what it is. I would suggest, I mean, I have more than 73 blogs. I'm already actually working on one more. It's already halfway written. So in a week or two, I will have that published. So best is to subscribe my blogs. They're free, and I don't spam people with ads and stuff like that. In fact, my entire website, you would not find ads and stuff like that. I don't like it when I'm reading articles and then there's things jumping out at me and I have to keep clicking them off, and it's just so annoying. So it's just I'm very systematic that way. So I don't like clutter in my website, so you will not find that. It's just the way that I have it set up. I don't like clutter. In general, I don't like clutter. So everything is very systematically placed. So it's just the way that I'm organized. So it's pretty scary, believe me. Even my garage looks better than most people's living room. So so now your question was how do you within this question you are asking information, and I would say just go through what you do find out there, and always make notes, or even just you will know when something resonates with you. I think that's the best way that I can explain this kind of things. If you already know that, it's nice to also get confirmation on what you read. I know that I always like to get confirmation on some things that come to me, so in some ways or the other. So that's okay if you are in that stage as well, when you are trying to gather information and some of the things you already know. That's not a bad thing if you are rereading some of the things that are also coming up as a confirmation. I guess the main thing for you, Ali, and for the other people is you have to kind of take it as a grain of salt of whatever type of advices you are getting from these blogs and the videos and the teachers, and look at it this way, that it's a confirmation. If you're reading the same thing in few blogs by different writers or different teachers, or within Twin Flame community, if you are listening and you are getting the same kind of answers from few people, that's just the work of your guides, your personal team, that is also in alignment with trying to get you to stay on course with the journey, as well as to it's sort of like a validation that this is what it is, and you're just gonna continue to kind of like plow through the journey, right? And you are, all twin flames are supposed to be leaving the 3D template of the teachings and what they grew up with. What they perceive is kind of within their religion. You have to kind of I mean, this new age spiritualism, you're supposed to dissect some of the good aspects that serve you for your highest and greatest good, and toss the ones that don't, if that makes sense. And that goes with religious aspects or societal ways that you have been accustomed to or grew up with. There's so many great teachings within religion, as well as the spirituality. The whole idea is not to leave your religion aspect and just completely go with spirituality. You're supposed to actually just merge the two. That's the best results that you will get in a spiritual journey is to merge the two. And how you know how to merge the two, you kind of do it intuitively. There is no rules, and I always say that because the thing is that there's too many rules that we already work with in life in general, so you don't have to make this as something that is of a rule. Try to just kind of go with the flow and see what resonates to you the best. And I don't think anybody can actually make the decision for you. You just have to kind of go deep within, ask your questions, ask your guides, ask your higher self what's the next move, sort of thing, and go from there. Influences are there, I'm gonna say that, and there's enough information there that is gonna confuse you as well. I know that the more, especially if you are following 3-4 teachers, it's going to confuse the bejesus out of you, because you are now confused, because they, of course, every teacher teaches based out of their own consciousness. and how elevated they are depends on how much inner work they've done, right? So if that makes sense. So you don't want to be following too many people, and then you're going to get confused. Intuitively just kind of plow through that kind of information and see how it's going to help you, if that makes sense. It is in a very roundabout way that I've answered, but in a very generic way that should kind of resonate. Let's see. And then he goes into the second part here. In a short response, if possible, tell me this. How can someone better understand whether a situation that occurred is a coincidence or planned action? So everything is a planned action, and there is no coincidence. So this is the simplest way that I can say. In his case, Ali, and I mentioned this to in one of my blogs, if you guys haven't looked it up. By the way, I do have a search bar in my website, so you can type in keywords in the search bar and my articles will pop. So people should learn how to be resourceful in the twin flame journey. Nobody handed me blogs. Here, you read this, you read this. I had to dig that all on my own. If I had to do a lot of back end work. So that's something that I kind of babysit a lot of people where I attach, and I kind of stopped doing that now, where I'm not attaching much blogs into the into the description box. It's just that it's very time consuming, and I'm just trying to breeze into other aspects of of the mission work, right? So yeah, best is to just search in the search bar. I do have an article on near-death experience. And for those that have encountered near death or near miss, you need to understand the difference between the two, because there is near death is when you actually are in a hospital and you have actually completely died, where your heart stopped, and it can stop for a given seconds or period or whatever, and then you are actually parting your body, and then you go through the whole white light journey, right? Where you actually see your guides and stuff like that. Near miss is very different. It's similar experience, but a little bit different, where you do not depart your body, but it feels like that you have. And these are usually all traumas anyways. You sometimes go through an accident or something like that, and usually see, the thing is that in the world of medical fields, you need to have a pulse in order for you to get revived, right? If that makes sense. If somebody's working on you, like a CPR or whatever. So in that case, there's somebody there that's giving you CPR and all that and trying to revive your pulse. But yeah, you kind of go into a numb position. And again, you do get very similar experience, where you actually are going through the white light journey, and then you get your souls, you get your your guidance from your guidance team, that sort of thing. Best thing to do is also YouTube a few videos that are out there. At least it was when I was researching for that topic. And the ones that have filmed on the near-death experience, they were actually all in hospitals, so they were pronounced dead. And then boom, 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 you know, like it just kind of went from there. So that's the difference, but very similar experience. Again, you need to, in order to understand any of this stuff, you need to actually almost understand the difference between all of that. So in that article, I explained that. And yeah, and see how it resonates. Both of the times after that kind of trauma, people get lots of gifts and stuff like that, lots of insights. So so take it as it is and see how this applies to you. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is different. You may have very similar experience, yet a little slight differentiation of it, right? So from the next person. So yeah, you have to, again, a lot of these kind of experiences are very, very individualized, if that makes sense, right? It's, I mean, people have similar experiences, but your experience will be very, very different from the next person that has had something similar. So this is how you can kind of dissect that information. So going back, what he's saying here is, I'm not trying to understand who or what may have planned the action, whether from the universe or spirit guides or your guardian angels, but more interested in learning how to attempt to decipher a particular situation in order to try and understand if that situation is more likely to be a coincidence or more likely to be a planned action from our guides and protectors. The reason I bring this up is because I last emailed you on, you know, he's given me a date and you could have responded on the 9th, 15th, 20th, next week, next month. This is how busy I am. Sometimes I don't respond to emails. It's just so swamped. So, so he's mentioned all this. Next month, or never responded at all. But the day you responded yesterday, 21st, happens to fall on an anniversary date of when I had last spoke with my twin flame. So so yeah, so I would say that these kind of coincidence will always be there in a twin flame journey. I mentioned that almost all the time in my videos, as well as in my articles. And that's why I say that it's best to dig into my work, just because I pay attention to people and what the topics are, what people are asking. Then I actually write blogs as per that, or talk about topics as per that. And of course, I have a very interesting, you know, jam-packed journey myself. So a lot of it is also my personal experience. So I share it all the time, all these things. So this is nothing new. What I want to say is that, yeah, nothing is, again, ever a coincidence. You having that near-death experience, if that is something that the rest of you, if you've ever encountered that, or near miss, whichever way it applies, those kind of things are actually meant to happen. And the whole reason why you are meant to have that is because it's sort of like, imagine a defibrillator, right? You get that jolt, you know, situation when you are you are getting hit by it, right? So that's the same idea. So this is meant to give you that surge, and then you get like you get some of your, you know, your crown, your third eye, and all that sort of thing just kind of pops open, and then you can get more intuition and stuff like that. And a lot of people actually got really big gifts that way. So it's certain trauma that would trigger it, and this is trauma enough that it triggered it, if that makes sense. So yeah, so in your case, it was the way that you chose. Everything is pre-scripted, I always say that. So in your case, you chose to live that soul experience before you incarnated in order to be able to receive a little bit of awakening through there. And of course, more awakening when you met your twin flame. So coincidence will signs and things will always be there when you are in twin flame journey. It's just your constant action plan by your guidance team, your higher self, your twin flame's higher self, to just kind of have you remain in the course of your journey. I mean, imagine this: if you have this kind of awakening and you're not getting any signs and things, then you're gonna not be in the journey. You'll be like, okay, so moving on, next phase. And the whole point of this twin flame journey is that they want you to remain in course of your journey, so they will continue to bombard you with lots of signs and things. And there's again that reason, because they don't want you to steer away from the journey. So the signs and things will continue to keep you in that loop of that cycle to remain in the journey. And the more you resist the signs and things, the more you'll find that the signs and things will just bombard. So yeah, it's a very important part of the journey, and I expanded a lot on this itself, just because I feel that that's what it is. So and that's the whole reason for it. So I mentioned that already. He just kind of asks, like, to you as a professional, is that a coincidence or responding on 21st unknowingly, unintentionally, or a sign, message from the universe or my spirit guides, guardians, angels trying to tell me something? So that's basically what it is. It's, you will get signs and things through people and things. And in my case, he got this specific kind of nudge from the universe, his guides, his higher self, through me. So that is correct, and that's just the way it's going to work. Nothing is random. I remember just before I got my inner union, I had booked with this. She's a local hypnotherapist, and I booked actually, well, first I booked one session, and then I ended up actually booking a few more, just so that I could kind of do this in a series. And it just so happens that during that time I got my inner union experience, birthed my higher self, and just as I had booked that session, her name, it was weird, because one of my friends on Facebook, he actually bought a Volkswagen Tiguan. I think that's the make. So he bought a brand new vehicle and ended up putting her name in the license plate. And of course, he was just posting this as a vehicle that is bought, and it was a personalized plate, and it had my healer's name on that. And it is a coincidence. I mean, I don't think so. I don't believe that it is, because it was my higher self that was confirming that I made the right decisions by booking with her. And of course, I would have never thought that it would be an experience like that. Going forward a few sessions later with the same person that I was gonna birth my higher self. I didn't see it, but then my guides knew, so it was really in par with what needed to happen for me. So I looked at that as a good sign. So stuff like this will always continuously bombard you, and there's no coincidence, because that's the work of your guidance team and your higher self. So he's kind of, the next part, I think I kind of answered that anyways, but I'll just kind of read out his question. Do you believe that there are no coincidences, and that everything happens for a reason, and that the universe, angels use relationships of people in order to cause a chain reaction? For example, you unknowingly, unintentionally decided to reply to me. Yes, definitely. And I just kind of mentioned that already in my answers. So 100%, 200%, 1000%. Do not second guess that. So if that's something that's happening to you guys through people and things, you're getting insights and stuff like that, definitely look at that as a message, a sign, and best is to keep a journal for these kind of things, because what makes sense to you, or what doesn't make sense to you at that time. 3 months later, 6 months later, definitely it'll make a lot of sense. If in fact this is how the universe, our angels work to guide us, silly humans, to the correct path, the $1 billion question would be, what the hell am I supposed to understand by this chain reaction message from the higher up? What are they trying to tell me? Or if in fact this is all a coincidence that I'm a fool to think about it this much. I don't think that that anybody's a fool to think that science and things are not as serious as the way that is being shown to us, whether it's number sequences or through messages through people and hints and stuff like that. Lots of things happen, and as human beings, we are powerful manifestors as well. Another thing I want to add is that for people that are trying to manifest some of the things through law of attraction or just visualization or anything of that sort, if you get confirmations through certain things, a conversation will come up in a certain way, this and that. That's all just part of it. It's just to give you a glimpse of what's ahead. And unfortunately, there is no such thing as the sky opening and you getting this really clear-cut movie-like sequence that shows what's happening in the future. You will get that very thoroughly. It'll be thorough signs, little things here, little things there. Then you just got to piece it all together to make sense of it. And the biggest issue that most humans, we silly human beings, have is that our ego is always there. Ego plays a big factor in our journey, and it's one of the paradigms that we have to get rid of, because in order to jump paradigms, right? I also have a blog on that, jumping paradigms, so you might want to take a look at that as well, because that's going to really help you. Ego is based out of fear, doubt. So if you're doubting some of these things, then it's one of the many things that ego has as and it's probably there to test you, maybe even. I also think that as well, that it's there to test our faith. And sometimes you will find that you're being tested to just kind of remain on course with your faith, your journey, so many things, right? So best is to just go deep within, and this is why a lot of twin flames prefer self-reflection time or alone time. I do, because I have all these messages that keep coming, and I have to teach the rest of you guys. So that's why I like my solitude, because I have to make sense of what's happening to me, what kind of messages are coming, and I need to do my own. I have to sit with it for a little while, and while I'm sitting with it, I'm getting confirmations from here and there through signs and things, more downloads, this, to know that, okay, this is what I need to teach you, and then it goes out kind of in that sequence, right? So there's lots of things like that, and as a teacher facilitator, I do that. So, and that's why my alone time and my self-reflection time is very, very important, so that I can channel this in a very clear and concise way versus being here and there. I don't like to teach here and there. I like to teach what I want to do, a short deal, as opposed to be all over the place. And that's another thing that a lot of teachers will do, is they will be all over the place. So make sure that whoever you select is not all over the place. They do know what they're teaching, and they're teaching you without themselves being that confused. Because this journey can be confusing. It's not all that confusing, but it can be. So yeah, you have to just kind of discern those kind of attributes of those teachers, and make sure that they are elevated higher enough in their consciousness to be able to channel those messages and explain you the way that you should be explained. So hopefully this answered your question, Ali, and I know that many of you struggle here, and this is why I decided to answer it in the way that I did, so that if some of you were struggling, you've got a little bit better insights. Do not doubt any signs and things that come. They are there, and they are meant to keep you on course with your path and your journey. And there's going to be more coming up. So if this is something that is overwhelming you, you have no idea what's ahead of you, because it's going to keep going. So yeah, best is to just kind of breathe through it, and yeah, do a lot of soul searching, soul reflection. Again, I teach, I haven't posted the dates yet, but for those that are interested in the next series of my empath training, you may want to do that, because that's what I teach. I teach you how to channel this kind of information and to look outside the box on how to find your answers from within. Next question by Ankita. I have a question about third-party situation. How to overcome that? Also, do you believe there is divine timing for union, or you can speed up the timing with work? She's asked a few questions within this, so I'm going to answer it point by point. I have a question about third-party situation. How to overcome that. So how to overcome third-party situation? Well, third-party can be many things, and third-party could be just other factors. It doesn't have to be just karmic partners. It could be other factors like work or business. In my case, in my connection, my third party is his work. his stuff that he's trying to get, his ducks in the row, basically. That's my biggest third party situation with him. He doesn't have any significant other, neither do I, but that seems to be what is keeping us a little bit apart as well, and just his own traumas and fears and stuff like that he needs to figure out. So there is no, you may want to look at twin flame blocks that I have mentioned in my blog. So you can again search that in the search bar in my website, and it'll pop up faster as opposed to you Googling it. It depends on the analytics of Google, how many people have read some of the blogs. Of course, the more juicier ones are read more as opposed to the other ones. Same thing as the videos, the ones that are more fluff seems to get more views as opposed to the ones that are actually going to help you in your journey. They don't get as much views. It's just because people don't like to, people are so hung up on the romance aspect of the twin flame connection in the journey that they don't understand that this is the entire point of this journey, is to become the highest version of who you're always meant to be. And of course, they will dangle your twin flame as a juicy carrot, a juicy bait, however way you want to look at it, and they'll keep dangling it in front of you so that you can dive more deeper into your healing. So that's the entire point of the journey. And it's if anybody's telling you anything different, then good for them. That's not what it is. So her question was, how do you overcome that? The only way that you can overcome anything is through your own personal work and your own healing process. How did I overcome the fact that he's buried day and night in work and that's all he does? I started apparently doing that too. Apparently. I am the same, because I just it's something I have lots to accomplish, and time is just like I stretch time basically in this 24 hours in a day, and I really stretch it to the optimum. And I also incorporate rest as best as I can, because self-care is very important. So I stretch it as much as I can, and I try to accomplish a lot within that time. And having it at the same time, I also want to have fun with my friends and family. It's very important for me that I actually continue to have some sort of social life as well. Human beings, we are meant to have social life, and we're supposed to be we're just fun-loving creatures that way, right? So it's very important for us. And COVID, of course, didn't help. So how do you overcome any of that stuff? By focusing on yourself. When you are actually focused on yourself, you are focused on your work, focused on your spirituality, focused on your healing, focused on having a life which is through your friends and family, and through just having connection to the nature, walking to the nature, and yoga, meditation, that kind of stuff. All that stuff will definitely keep you busy. And how do you overcome any of this stuff? Is to stay busy. It's still not a full-on healing band-aid. It's just a temporary band-aid, but it will at least get you in a right frame of mind in order for you to go deep within and start investing in yourself. The spiritual journey is not any different. Neither is twin flame journey in general is spiritual journey, but it's not any different. If you think that there's no investment, there is investment in terms of time, in terms of money. Nothing is cheap. Everything costs money, and healing with people will cost you money. Getting guidance from teachers and gurus and stuff like that will also cost you money, because they're putting in their time and you have to give value to that. So you have to ask yourself just what you are worth in order to do this kind of investment. If you think you're worth it, then you will reflect that. Just like if you ask a question to yourself, am I worth it to go and get my my hair colored and nicely trimmed, and or not get colored, doesn't matter, highlights, whatever. People have all sorts of things, right, that's important to them. You need to ask yourself, are you worth it? Are you worth it to go and get your nails and your hair done, or your pedicure? Are you worth it to eat good food, as opposed to eating Ichiban noodles, or or just eating potatoes and craft dinners, right? Like, you have to just kind of cheap food, right? So I mean, sometimes cheap food tastes good, but that's not nourishing, by the way. So you're not supposed to be eating all that, right? So you're supposed to be eating lots of good protein, good veggies, right? All that kind of stuff. And good food costs money. So you have to ask yourself, are you worth it? Are you worth doing that investment when it comes to investing in your schooling or knowledge, right? You are forever learning. It doesn't matter what stage of your life you are in, you're supposed to be constantly learning. So so all these kind of things, if you are investing in yourself in some way and focusing on yourself in some way, shape or form, then those are some of the ways to overcome it, right? So that is, in a nutshell, what that means. The more you are focused on yourself, you are jumping and you are anchoring a higher vibration of who you are meant to become. And when you are in the higher vibration of who you are meant to become, even if your twin flame is with a karmic partner and they continue to just kind of be there, you don't know what's in future, what's in store for you. If you are focused on yourself, you have no idea what you can attract, because that is a given 100% situation, that when people are magnetic, when they can attract people and things really, really well, then you can attract this really high level partner as well. So you don't know what is in store for you in future. Maybe some of you do know, that's different story. But what I'm saying is that by focusing on yourself, you can never go wrong in any way. It's an investment that you make, and once you make that investment, you do reap the rewards of that, however way it's supposed to come. There is no waste of time there. So by focusing on yourself, you will find that. I mean, it's the same thing as you going to the gym. It's the same concept. You know, you go to the gym every day and you eat the right food. Of course, it's not just going to the gym. You have to also eat proper food. There's no point you going to the gym for 2 hours and then coming back and having McDonald's or pizza for your dinner, right? So that's gonna really defeat the purpose unless you can burn off that kind of fat or calories. I mean, the most those kind of celebrities that have really, really amazing physique, they actually do the same thing. They spend a lot of time in the gym, but then they come back and they also are eating the right type of food so that they're not wasting their 2 hours there. So, and it's a routine thing that they do. And the reward is there because they get this really amazing cuts, right? You know, they get the right muscles in the right places, and you know, they lose that fat and they tone their body. So that is all that physical effort that they put in. It's not given to them free, right? There's no such thing as you waking up one morning and you have six-pack abs. You know, you have to work for it. So it's the same idea. And the more you work on yourself, the more you will see the physical polish of that work that you're doing. So yeah, once you do that, you automatically become very magnetic, and when you become magnetic, life changes. You see lots of it becomes fun because you're having the time of your life, and the whole idea is to karmic partners or third party. You're supposed to have a time of your life. So I don't think that I know anybody that doesn't have third party in their connection. They always do. There's some sort of block there that hinders the union process. So yeah, you just have to figure out what that is for you. I don't think it's any different if you are dealing with a karmic or you're dealing with a karmic partner, whether it's your partner or twin flame is with a karmic, or you're both single or one is single, because the journey is designed that way. And even the karmic partners are there to aid you in your soul ascension process. So some people needed that there to add that in to just kind of help them go through their ascension process. And each contract is different. Each twin flame couple have different stuff that they work on. So the timelines that she's asking. Okay, so let me just that was a karmic question here, or the third party. Also, do you believe that there is divine timing for union, or you can speed up the timing with work? I wrote an article on divine timing, and I don't like using divine timing in anything, so I don't. You will notice that I hardly ever use divine timing because it's a negative connotation to, it's something that is, you are kind of slapping a nice band-aid on just putting it as, oh, divine timing. Okay, I'm gonna not continue to work or heal or do this or do that, and I'm gonna have my divine timing deal with this sort of thing. So that's just how people look at divine timing part. They are so hung up on divine timing and thinking that divine timing is going to fix and shave timelines and will magically make things all better. Did it so far? Or has it? So you have to kind of ask your question on that. You may want to read up my blog on divine timing, and I have actually dissected that aspect in many, many ways. I don't think that there is anything as such that allows people to have that kind of divine timing. It plays a certain aspect of your journey. It's not the entire aspect, because you're supposed to just focus on you and just let the rest unfold the way that it's supposed to. So but yes, I mean, if people are just waiting for divine timing to magically align with this star, or this placement of this planet, and your hand, fate and destiny and all that sort of thing, then yeah, you could be waiting forever. So and meanwhile, while you're waiting, what are you doing? So that's, I think, the best question that you need to ask is, if you're waiting for divine timing, exactly what are you doing to improve your life in the best way that you're supposed to? Because the whole point of your twin flame journey is to live the highest version of yourself, to bring your heaven on earth and live that experience. So, and if you're too hung up on your twin flame with a third party, then well, how is this actually serving you, right? So you have to kind of discern between the two. Next question. Atul is asking, hey Vinita, I'm following every healing you mentioned and I love and enjoy everything. However, I have some questions. My twin masculine and I are of same gender. However, he keeps denying that he's not into men, but even keeping all the 3D terminologies about the lesbian gay community. He may not be attracted to every man, may he just be who he is attracted to, keeping that initial phases of ours. I know we have explosive attraction. Trust me, I have touched a different level of spirituality after we met. He says he is in relationship, third party. However, is DM energy? Is it possible he figured out a middle way, calling me as family and continue to be with others as well? That's what I sense. But yes, everything I try to keep a trust, hence commitment issues and acceptance issues. What can I do to resolve this? Because if at least not him, I have faith in divine. I have tried everything, and yes, you mentioned in your twin flame relationship, it's very much similar with me. My another question is it possible that he knows about our connection and manipulates the energy by keeping me also happy and has free will? Will the reunion be possible? My another question is there any dark spell or something like that that can cause issues, like I sense many times? But I know Mahalakshmi Ma will sort everything. However, these are the questions which I deeply want to know the answers. So he's kind of told a scenario here. So of course this person is in a same-sex relationship with his twin flame. Usually, from the sounds of his story here, he's had a situation with his twin flame, and basically they had a brief relationship, and now he's exploring other avenues. What that is, I'm not sure. Maybe opposite genders, or it could be the same genders. However way, it's not any different, or it's not even relevant. In this case, sometimes what ends up happening is you meet your twin flame and they're the same gender, and then of course there's lots of confusion that comes along, and those are all the roadblocks, and though they are there for a reason, and that is for you to figure out what you need to heal in a deeper way. So I teach a lot of things, and it's very versatile, but you may watch my videos and you may read my blogs, but if you do not apply its teachings and what I'm trying to say and invest in it, then you're not gonna reap the rewards of that. You can read my blogs all you want, watch my videos, but That's what it is. You need to actually apply it. It took me 4 years to write it, apply it, and grow from it to get where I am in my journey. It doesn't happen overnight. So for those that are trying to think that this is going to be a fast track process, good luck. There's no such thing. So you need to actually apply it in your journey and apply the healing that I'm actually explaining there. So invest time, money, effort. So yeah, all those kind of things are there, and you need to invest in that way. And it takes years to get where you are actually elevated enough in your consciousness, and it's years of hard work. It's not like it's okay, I feel like working on it in the next few weeks and then stop working, give it a rest for a year, and then not continue. It's constant, ongoing. So that's the difference. And I kind of know when people are not applying these kind of principles into their journey, because that's just the questions are here enough for me to know that they're looking for a fast track time shaves, and there's no such thing, because it's the work of the soul, right? It's the soul journey. So you won't be able to cut corners as much as you would like to. You can try. It's not gonna, you're just gonna be wasting time and just going into circles. So best is to do that. How, and that was one of the questions that he asked, how, and the how is that I explained. And then in the next part, he's going in, he's saying that I've tried everything, and yes, like you mentioned in your twin flame relationship, it's very similar with me. I'm not sure how my twin flame relationship is very similar to yours, because it's a very different kind of connection. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. But having said that, yeah, it seems like that you do have some relationship issues with your twin flame, and if you have explained to him that you are his twin flame, he's denying the connection, then just allow him to just kind of absorb all of that, because that's a lot of information, and sometimes it's a lot of information to have all at once. So allow them that space to and maybe that's what you were saying. It's very similar, where your twin flame knows that you both are twin flames. So if that's the case, it's a lot of information. Just allow your twin flame to process all that. Meanwhile, if he is learning lessons with other partners, you cannot stop that, because it's a lesson that he has to learn, and you need to just kind of accept it and just allow those lessons to continue. That's his soul journey, and you can't interfere in it. And those are the lessons. Like you won't be able to manipulate it. And the same thing with anybody that's dealing with third-party situations. It doesn't matter whether it's work, business, karmic partners. You just have to allow them to learn their own lessons around that. It's their choice, and you cannot manipulate it. And Archangel Michael is, of course, confirming that. Hopefully this comes through in the recording. Thank you. So that was straight from him, not from me. So allow that, that information to just kind of be there. And yeah, you need to understand that that's their soul journey, their lessons, and that's very important as is part of the script that is in your dynamics with them. So they have to figure things out. You have to give them time to find themselves, and your spiritual ascension and your journey is a little bit on a faster track than the DM energy. Having said that, they also do, but I always say this, that if you work on yourself, you will have a knockoff effect on your twin flame as well. And of course, that doesn't happen if you are just enjoying watching my videos and You know, you're getting a little bit of entertainment out of it, and you absorb some teachings, and you're reading my blogs, and you're like, okay, yeah, but you're not applying it. So that's not healing. It's just learning and healing. They're two different things. I talk about healing. Yeah, you're supposed to learn a whole bunch of things as well, but you're supposed to be healing as well with it. So try that. Try to heal some of your own time, and how much you want to invest. It actually is all you. Nobody can do that for you. So yeah, your own investment, you have to put a price to that, and you have to figure out what that is. And then, of course, this one, my favorite one, people always ask. Another question is there any dark spells or something like that that cause issues? The only thing that causes issues between twin flames is past life karma. I don't believe in dark spells and black magic and all those kind of things. There's no such thing. It's just figure-based 3D. People have that all the time, where they just try to make sense of some of these roadways or blocks by throwing dark forces and dark spells and, you know, voodoo and all that sort of thing, and they think that would really solve their issue. You can try that route and see if things change. Let me know how that works out. I don't know any twin flame that has been able to fix any of that stuff through fixing the dark spells and, you know, dark forces and all that sort of thing. If you feel that that's something that will help your situation, you can, definitely, your choice. But yeah, I wouldn't focus on that. I will never attach my name to something like that and think that and tell you guys that that's something that's going to work. So you are just going to be wasting lots of time and probably money, because all these kind of people that claim that they can solve these kind of issues, they always take lots of money. Past lives, there's probably, if you are in a true twin flame connection, you probably have past lives, so you may want to dig in there and just find out what the past life story is that kind of ties into your current reality. So hopefully these were answers that helped you. I kind of mentioned already in this entire video what people can do to resolve some of these you know, roadways that come. So I believe I've answered another part that he was asking. My another question is it possible that he knows about our connection and manipulates the energy by keeping me also happy and has free will? That is his, only he can answer that question. If he is choosing to keep you there as well as have other options, then that's actually just relationship issues, right? So and I'm a twin flame expert, not a relationship expert. So if he's keeping his options open and he's trying to find other ways to entertain himself, what you need to ask is just how much of this you're going to put up with in terms of your value. If you value yourself enough, then you should you should be able to discern that information and then figure out just how this applies for you, because, you know, if he is finding other means of entertainment, you know, that's an individual question. You have to kind of ask, how would you do that to him? And if your answer is no, then you need to ask, why is he doing that to you? So that's the best way that I can explain that aspect. And a lot of it is probably, like I mentioned, lessons. He is still learning lessons. So what you need to ask is, are you okay with him having other relationships? And that's an individual question, I suppose, for you. So yeah, some deep reflection you need to do in order to figure out how you want to go about with the rest of your journey. Like I said to the earlier question, that you can never go wrong by focusing on yourself, because when you elevate into a higher consciousness and you actually become a magnet, you also will attractively magnetize a really good relationship as well. And whether it's with your twin flame or somebody better, that remains to be seen. So yeah, you know, there's few ways that you can look at it. Focusing on yourself and investing in yourself, you can never ever go wrong. And that seems to be the main question and concern between the last two questionnaires that asked. So hopefully this helped you guys. This was Vanita in the AVA series, Ask Vanita Anything. If you need to submit any of your questions, you can do so. Send me an email. You can jot any information in the comments. I do look at all of them, and I will pick and choose which ones I want to air, and of course they will be answered in the priority that it is received. With that, this was Twin Flame Union. Have a blessed day.